India's export, import and the trade deficit that widened to over $31 billion in the month of October. What exactly is leading to this widening of trade deficit?
A very simple and a very rude answer, Shweta, to that is gold. I think the festive season got delayed this year. We had the Shara in late October, Diwali in pretty much mid-November. So the real gold surge, the demand for gold soared in the month of October. And hence, when you look at the figure year on year, when you compare it year on year, the kind of spike you would have seen in the month of September in gold demand actually came in the month of October.
Right.
And hence the numbers got skewed a little bit October to October 2022 to 2023 when you look at it YOY. But at the same time, gold considered still across the world as a safe haven investment, and we've seen the kind of volatility in crude prices, the volatility in stock markets. Overall, the purchase of gold, not just India's import on gold, that of course is tremendously high, but overall gold prices have shot up in the global market. At the same
That's an
time,
interesting chart right behind you. Gold prices bottoming out in the October and then scaling up once again in the month of November.
absolutely. So actually you see mid-October onwards, 17th October to let's say, first week of November is when you really see that spike, sharp spike. And correlated, this is around the time that we were 10 days, 12 days into the Israel-Hamas conflict. And this was the time when oil prices were taking a beating and not a beating, in fact, were surging higher. And this is the time when the dollar index was high. So overall, money was flowing out from stock markets into products like gold and US dollar, considered safe havens. And what really happened, look at the Brent prices also. So you saw that they had actually flattened out or come to their moving average in the early month of October. And then look at the spike in oil prices as well. So October has been pretty much an expensive month, whether you want to buy gold, whether it is oil prices, and India in fact imports both gold as well as oil. Now specifically on gold, the demand for gold has surged as much as 95% year on year, again like I mentioned, because of the festive rush and the festive demand and the frenzy around buying gold. Now that of course being imported now at a value which is 22% higher again on a year on year basis, with a double whammy of rising oil prices and India being an oil net importer of oil and a depreciating rupee. So oil prices have gone up October to October 22 to 23 in the range of $3 to $4 per barrel. Rupee in the same period has depreciated by about 2.5% or so. So that's a double whammy. Add to that surging gold prices 20 to 23% or so, and in any case a higher festive demand for gold, higher by about 95%. All these factors spoiling the trade deficit party in India, and hence you see, while exports have also been high, exports in fact have been almost $1 billion or so higher on a month-on-month basis.
Exports have also picked up about 6%.
That's right.
On a year-on-year basis.
So even if you look at it month-on-month, Shweta, exports were hovering around $33 billion or so in the month of September. They've gone up to about $34 billion. Now, some of this could be obviously attributed to higher exports, bigger volume of exports, but some of this could also be attributed to a depreciating rupee.
Right.
So exports bring in that much more dollar value. So overall, you see there are these three factors, out of which gold being the number one most prominent, surging demand of gold at higher gold prices in the month of October versus September versus October of last year. Then you've got oil prices much higher when compared year on year, rupee depreciating. All these three have weighed in not in favor of India's trade deficit, and hence the widening of trade deficit to about $31.5 billion or so, which is almost as much, just $2 billion short of India's total export volume, which is about $34 billion or so. So actually, if you see, imports have still been very high because of these factors that I mentioned at about 65 billion, but exports have also risen month on month by about $1 billion. But that has more than offset its accruing benefits to India's trade deficit by virtue of rising prices on imports.
All right, and looking at the trends that are emerging in the month of November, which is oil prices are now down to almost or under $80 a barrel. Given that we're out of festive season, we're moving towards New Year's, what sort of impact are you looking at as far as November is concerned? Do you think the export volumes may just be high, but import volumes could go down?
If we can pull up maybe, so you're right. I think we have, gone under the $80 per barrel mark on Brent. But if you can pull up the gold chart, you'll see that actually gold has continued to be in the higher territory even in the first couple of days of November. It started coming down. In fact, you see this trend, it started tapering down only around maybe, after the first week of November. And it continued to stay high even in the first 1 week of November. So I think some of this impact and the festive buying with Dhanteras, with Diwali will reflect, not augur very well even when the November data comes out. But if gold continues to not rise, follow this downward trajectory, we should be in a better place. But look at the Indian rupee also. If we can pull up the INR picture also, you see that for the last almost 3 months, September onwards, we've been in the high 83, 82, upwards of 82, 83 rupees per dollar range. So this trend is going to continue to become a problem for us. Look at the numbers we saw in the month of June and July. It had actually bottomed out to just in the range of about 81, 81.5 or so, right? And now we've maintained this steady sort of level at 83, and this is also happening because periodically RBI is selling its forex reserves of US dollar to keep the rupee stable. So this sort of open market operations by the RBI in a bid to keep rupee in the territory of about 83, 84. Coupled now with, again, gold prices for the first week at least of November continuing to be high, could spell trouble even in the month of November.
All right, so November not looking good so far, 2 weeks into November.
I mean, unless we see a real crash in oil prices, which I don't suspect will happen in the month of November. Beyond 80, I think it'll be $2 up, $1 down. It'll continue in that range.
And unless people stop buying gold, which is not going to happen either.
I think, people will buy lesser gold in November than they bought in October.
That is
right.
Correct.
So in volume, despite the price being high or lowering a little bit now, the amount of gold people will buy in India in November is likely to be lesser than what they bought in October. But then don't forget, we are also entering Shadi season. And the great Indian wedding is going to compel people to buy gold. I mean, Dhanteras and Diwali is still a little bit of, auspicious buying. What we see in Shadi season, what we see in Shadi season, wedding season, is actually ornamental purchases of gold, and that also come with other markup, etc. So I think, October numbers November numbers may not be as ballooned as October numbers, but November numbers are also going to be under pressure from where I see it now.
All right, October numbers not looking too good for India's trade deficit, which is now widened to almost $31.46 billion. November trends so far not pointing at a very rosy picture as well.